Welcome to Game, home for exceptional adventures. I am the Game Master, and in today's video, we're going to look at the best games of 2021. Now, 2021 was a hard year for everyone across the world as the COVID situation kept us mostly apart and locked down. Many developers were forced to delay highly anticipated games in order to deliver the best possible product. There were a lot of bad releases this year, which we're going to cover that in another video. But today, we're going to focus on the best games that were released during this year. Here are our top 10 games of 2021. Starting off, we're going to talk about Resident Evil Village. Now, I'll admit, personally, I'm not a fan of horror games, yet this year, I finally sat down and decided to try out Resident Evil Village. Its previous title, Resident Evil 7 in VR, was one of the scariest titles I've ever played. The immersive nature of the VR made me feel as if I was already there and actually in there and running for my life. Resident Evil Village uses the same first-person perspective. It's set in the snowy, explorable Eastern European village, and much larger and more immersive than its predecessor. Structures and buildings in the central village can be climbed and used to fight enemies. Compared to Resident Evil 7, though, this game is more action-focused, with the protagonist Ethan Winters now equipped with more combat skills due to his military training. The game's primary enemies, these werewolf-like lycans, are not only agile and intelligent, but can wield weapons and attack in packs, forcing the player to rethink their strategy on whether to utilize sparse ammunition, use melee combat, or simply to just run away. This game is thrilling, though admittedly less of a horror than the previous entry, which is probably why I was able to complete it. This toned-down difficulty allows it to reach even further than its predecessor. 9. Next up, it's Monster Hunter Rise. Now, Monster Hunter Rise is an arcade-like new spin on Capcom's long-running series about going out in the world with a giant sword, lance, or bowgun and tracking down mythical creatures. This time, when the monsters team up on chaotic rampages, you feel more like prey than hunter. It's a bit easier on the player than its big sibling, Monster Hunter World, a bit more playful and as campy as ever. This game was definitely a smoother experience than World, but lost a bit of the in-game challenge due to that. The addition of your own extra mount was an excellent way to traverse the land and an extra hand when taking on the engaging beast of the Monster Hunter universe. 8. Next up is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Now, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a compilation of the Mass Effect trilogy, including both Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. It was developed by BioWare and published by EA. All three games were remastered with visual enhancements, technical improvements, and gameplay adjustments. Mass Effect 1, the first game of the trilogy, received more extensive upgrades than its counterparts, specifically in regard to graphics, combat mechanics, vehicle handling, and loading times. Between all three of these, you get a chance to experience the amazing tale of Commander Shepard. Whether you choose a male or female protagonist, it's up to the player, and you get to take command of their story and choose what relationships you're in and even who you call friend. These are all old games but remastered to fit in with 2021 standards, and they are still to this day a blast to play through. Mass Effect 2 being my personal favorite. 7. Next up is NieR Replicant. Now, NieR Replicant was released in 2021 and is a remake of the original NieR title, first released all the way back in 2010. This new version updates the visuals and streamlines the gameplay while also adding some minor changes to the overall story. The main difference has to do with the main character named NieR and their relationship with Yona. In Replicant, NieR is a young teenage man and Yona is his sister. But in the original NieR, called Gestalt NieR, he is a man in his 40s with a daughter named Yona. The main narrative of the game remains the same, but some dialogue is changed based on the differences between both NieRs. The relationship between NieR and Yona is totally different, but there aren't really any massive changes outside of that. And outside of the different main characters, the two versions of NieR are practically the same game. But it's a blast to play, and I recommend picking it up.
6.
Chivalry II is up next, and it's a multiplayer first-person slasher inspired by epic medieval movie battles. Players are thrust into the action of every iconic moment of the era, from clashing swords to storms of flaming arrows to sprawling castle sieges and more. Chivalry is an incredibly fun experience, especially when playing together with friends. You can play a total of 4 different classes, each having their own distinct fighting style with a set of subclasses for you to customize and take into battle as you please. Chivalry 2 can be played with up to 64 players with a variety of modes to choose from, providing the player endless replays.
5.
Next is Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. Now, nostalgia is a powerful tool. For many who played the original, going back to Final Fantasy is an absolute dream come true. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a 2020 action RPG developed and published by Square Enix. It's the first in a planned series of games remaking the '97 PlayStation game Final Fantasy VII. Now, it's set in a dystopian cyberpunk metropolis of Midgar. Players control mercenary Cloud Strife, and he joins Avalanche, an eco-terrorist group trying to stop the powerful mega corporation Shinra from using the planet's life essence as an energy source. The gameplay combines real-time action with strategic and role-playing elements. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is the PS5 version released in 2021, adding upgrades for the new system and a new playable character, Yuffie Kisaragi.
4.
Next we have Halo Infinite. Now Halo is a 2021 FPS developed by 343 Industries and published by Xbox. It's the 6th mainline entry in the Halo series and the 3rd in the Reclaimer saga following the events of Halo 5 Guardians. The campaign follows the human super soldier Master Chief and his fight against the enemy. Banished on the Forerunner ring world Zeta Halo, also known as Installation 7. Unlike previous installments in the series, the multiplayer portion of the game is free to play. Like past Halo games, Halo Infinite is a shooter with most gameplay taking place from a first-person perspective. Players use a number of weapons and vehicles commonly found throughout the Halo series, such as the Warthog. The game features several new abilities for Master Chief, such as the grapple shot, which enables him to pull himself towards foes or retrieve items. The story mode is now open world, further evolving this legendary series and cementing it as one of the best games of 2021.
3.
Super Robot Wars 30. A niche title, but Super Robot Wars is a tactical RPG that brings characters and robots from a variety of mech anime together to battle their mutual foes. Players follow characters through adventure and battle, take control of giant robots on a battle map, commanding them to defeat their enemies. In Super Robot Wars, players can enjoy a unique experience that combines all-star mecha series crossovers, action-packed attack animations, and the chance to upgrade your favorite machines and pilots. The series is on its 30th anniversary for a reason. Its addicting gameplay and storytelling provides mech fans with a dream game filled with exciting callbacks to all their favorite anime.
2.
Guardians of the Galaxy is next, and Guardians of the Galaxy truly embraces the spirit of its source material and managed to create one of the most engaging emotional experiences in years. Although it's based on the comics, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in a new universe featuring brand new versions of the characters. The game's strongest quality is its steadfast dedication to storytelling, with each member of the Guardians getting their own development arc across the wider narrative. The gameplay could use some work, but because of its excellent storytelling, you can find yourself easily lost within its overarching narrative.
1.
Lastly, we have Tales of Arise. This is my favorite game of 2021, and it features a diverse cast of characters, an intuitive and rewarding combat system, and a captivating story set in a lush world worth fighting for. Tales of Arise truly delivers a first-class JRPG experience for those of you who have been missing the classic JRPG. This game is a return to form for the Tales series and JRPGs in general. From the beautiful open world locations you'll visit to the character interactions, every moment of this game is a blast to play. The storyline will have you on the edge of your seat, while the gameplay will have you challenged right up until the very end. If you haven't yet, you need to pick up this amazing game and fall in love with JRPGs again and the entire cast of Tales. And there you have it. These are the best games of 2021. We hope that you enjoyed today's video, and as always, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified every time we release a new video here on Game. Have an amazing day, and remember to have an exceptional adventure today, whether it's in your game or more importantly, in your life. Enjoy and have fun.